Up next, a Biden White House 180 on tougher border policies. New CNN reporting on the administration now embracing Trump-like approaches it once rejected. I want to share now some new CNN reporting on the border. We're learning about why the Biden administration is embracing more restrictive border policies. Sources telling CNN the administration, quote, went from not wanting to do tough stuff to realizing they have no choice. The policy echoes some of what the Trump administration did. That 180, not sitting well with some of the president's fellow Democrats. CNN's Priscilla Alvarez joins me now with this new reporting. First, what are they doing now that 6 months ago or a year ago they said, no, we won't touch that?
This is a policy that would largely bar migrants from seeking asylum at the U.S.-Mexico border if they transited through other countries, which, as you know, many do. And it's a marked difference from where we were before, where U.S. law says that migrants who reach U.S. soil have the right to request asylum. This is the most restrictive policy they've put out to date. And again, it's a departure from decades-long protocol. And sources tell me this idea, it's not the first time it came up. In fact, in the summer of 2021, White House and DHS officials discussed this concept, and White House lawyers knocked it down, seeing it as possibly being blocked by courts. Now, administration officials tell me they feel strongly about its legal authority now, and that it's not like the Trump what they called transit ban that was more of a ban on asylum altogether. And instead, the administration's defense of this is that they're also opening up legal pathways to the U.S. So there is an option for migrants to get here. But ultimately, it really does mark a shift of where the Biden administration was in 2021 and where they are now when they're on a cusp of a 2024 general election. And we know that this is an issue that is a vulnerability for President Biden.
So then get at the why. Is it that they know it's a vulnerability in 2024? Is it that they've exhausted other policy options just on how can we do this better and they're not working? Combination?
It's both. It's the political reality. It's also the reality on the ground. So yes, Republicans have been hammering the Biden administration over record numbers at the U.S.-Mexico border. Even members of his own party have been saying we need to manage this better. But the reality, too, is that there's mass movement across the Western Hemisphere. These are numbers that we haven't seen before and from countries we haven't seen before. We're seeing Cubans, Nicaraguans, Venezuelans. We haven't seen those populations before. And so that really puts them in a corner into how they can manage these populations, which we can't necessarily remove back to their countries because of strained diplomatic relations. So it puts the administration in a really tough spot, one they've been in since the outset. But it also puts them in a position where the reforms they wanted to pass are by the wayside, and they're going to have to make tough choices moving forward.
How significant is the blowback from progressives in the immigrant rights community?
Democrats aren't happy. Most of the statements are deeply disappointed, outraged. They see this as going toward the Trump approach, and that's what makes them nervous. But the reality is that the administration is saying you have to pass immigration reform, Congress, and in the absence of that, we're going to have to pass these policies.
Well, there will be the absence of that. The question is the policy debate going forward. Priscilla, thanks for coming in and sharing that.